Hi, I'm Allie Dennis, and we are doing a human library project here at Sashabaw Middle School. And the thing that really struck me about a human library project when I was reading about it was that the whole point of it is to combat stereotyping and labeling and discrimination in our society. And as we were reading The Outsiders, we talked all about those different themes that we saw, the ways in which people get labeled or stereotyped in a negative way. And we decided that that's just not okay, that we want more for our school, that we want more for our community, and we want more for our world. And so this is a worldwide movement, the Human Library Project, but we are modifying it here at Sashabaw Middle School. And we took different community members and I asked them if they would volunteer. And each of these people have chosen a book title for themselves that represents some piece of who they are. And perhaps it's a label, or perhaps it's their occupation, their profession. But it's just showing that this is what I'm going to talk to you about, but I have this other life story that I can share with you as well. I also thought about different people in my life who I thought had a really interesting and unique story, and how that would make an impact on the kids who heard that story, and how maybe they would think one thing about this particular person, but after sitting down and talking with them and listening to bits and pieces of their life story, they would realize that maybe some of those assumptions that they previously made weren't that correct, or that people are more than a label and they're more than a stereotype, and they have this interesting and unique life story to share.
Home feels cold, her leaves, they are gold.
Wow, I really just wrote that, and that was kind of a moment for me that this is really what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And it's crazy how when you're in pain, your pencil just has a mind of its own. Like when I'm hurting, it's like therapy for me, and my hand just goes nuts on the paper, and it's just a great feeling. My name is Maddie Kopsch. I'm a sophomore at Clarkson High School. I'm here talking to the middle schoolers about my songwriting and my singing, and I'm a musician, and Miss Dennis contacted me recently. She was my teacher in 8th grade, my ELA teacher, and she wanted me to do this because she knew that I was a writer and a musician, and it's just been really cool so far, and it's cool getting to talk to the kids.
Hi, today I'm talking to 7th graders about the power of mindset and what it means to have a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. These kids are pretty inspiring in terms of how they view effort, and how they're viewing that they can take on new information, new ideas, and learn and grow and pretty much pursue any passion that they have. We've talked about self-talk and how important it is that we feed our mind and feed our souls with positive, motivational statements that we can do anything we want. We truly can be extraordinary. When we're born, we simply grow and get better. So it's really nice to share this with 7th graders today.
On 2012, I decided to run for trustee, and then a lot of my friends decided I didn't have any chance or anything. It was kind of interesting. They told me, "Oh no, you don't have a chance. I mean, it's not even Hispanics in Clarkston. I mean, how do you think you're gonna win?" Then I asked people what I need to do to win. I says, "You need to knock every door in the township." So I did it. I actually did. Out of 11 people running, just 4 get elected. I was lucky enough that I was the number 4.
I am the online learning coordinator for Northville Public Schools. I coordinate the whole online program for the whole school district, and I came here today to tell kids about my past career as a pro gamer. A lot of kids are very surprised when they hear that I used to play video games professionally. That was my job. That's what I used to get paid to do. But I think it's important for them to realize that, people that they see every day when they look at their teacher, sometimes there's a story behind that that they don't expect. And I think they really like to hear, that I can relate. Look, I used to play games just like you. It used to actually be my job. And I like to also talk about the educational importance that video games can develop collaboration skills, communication skills, working as a team. So I think it's cool to definitely share that perspective to kids where they typically might not expect that perspective to be there in a teacher.
My name is Mary Kennedy Jacob. I'm a language arts teacher at Grand Blanc West Middle School, and I'm a resident of Flint and during the current water crisis.
And I'm Kirsten Fermaglish. I teach American Jewish history and culture at Michigan State University.
We're here today to participate in the Human Library at Sashabaw Middle School. And it's been a fascinating experience for me. I intend to take it back to my school as well. I really feel like this is a great way to teach kids perspective, be open. We don't have to change people's minds, but to be open to other people. And this is just a great way, non-threatening, for them just to get to know a lot of information. I was surprised by some of their questions. One of the fun facts that I could share is that many of the students had shared that when they were, a few years ago, they were part of fundraising for the residents of Flint. And so that was really nice to know that they could make a connection, and then for them to actually see a resident of Flint. So
that's great. That's really great. So it was. So my book, my category was being Jewish and talking about being Jewish, and it's interesting for me because I'm typically teaching to older students, so it was interesting to me to hear most students didn't know anything about being Jewish, about the religion. So it was really, to me, it's really helpful and useful to be able to talk about different elements of Jewish religion, stereotypes against Jews, and how to sort of confront those. And so it was really helpful for me to hear people's questions and also to be able to answer them and to be able to sort of, just be a person sitting in front of them that might be different from what they expect. It was really nice.
Helped me too much with the team. I wasn't going to get very far with them, so I stopped riding there and started riding one of the horses at the front of my neighborhood. And it was probably a month before I was willing to go back to the barn and actually start riding horses again. So I was so scared. And then finally, after all my friends are sitting there and kind of begging me to come back and convincing me, I finally went back. And it was I started with the basics again to build my confidence back up.
It's really interesting for me as a teacher to read through all of my students' post reflections on what they learned from each individual speaker, what they thought the speaker was going to be like, and how that speaker really differed in their life story, in their label, in their stereotype, whatever it was that they were able to communicate to our students.
I think the Human Library was a great idea because I learned so much about people that I didn't even know about their story, and it was just interesting to learn about what people have been through and how their life came to be.
I learned a lot about the Flint water crisis and how it's still going on, and I was really surprised on how much it really affected Flint. I really liked how open and nice everybody was and how accepting everybody was to everybody's questions.
I thought the Human Library project was a fantastic idea, and I learned a lot from it. One thing I learned is you can't judge a book by its cover. I know that's a cliche phrase, but it really came to life with this project. When I saw the book title, I thought something about the person. I have this perfect picture in my mind, and then they started talking and telling me about themselves, and they were different than what I thought.
I'll take all of those post reflections, and with each of my classes, we will start to design hopefully a lesson plan that will be used in our Wolf Time communities that has to do with the negative effects of labeling and stereotyping and the groups that we see within our school and in our community. And after they create that lesson plan, we're hoping to do an inclusion project for the whole school, 6th and 7th graders throughout Sashabaw Middle School. I think it was really important to have our students go through the human library and see that they can change their mind about somebody in under 10 minutes, and they can understand that people are far more than a label or a stereotype, and they're far more than one single component in their life, and they're a very intricate being with so much to offer and so much to teach our kids.